You're watching the AI report. Let's get into it. California is proposing new regulatory language that would allow residents to opt out of encounters with automated systems, potentially giving them safeguards against the use of artificial intelligence, or so the proposers claim. If approved, consumers could decline businesses' automated decision-making systems in various areas such as housing, education, employment, criminal justice, healthcare, and more. No, too strong. What is an automated system? It can be any piece of software, and you can't really ask businesses to assign humans for every possible decision they need to make. I get it, the intentions here might be good and honest, but it feels too draconian and it will be too hard to implement. I can already picture like my business struggling to implement all of these regulation requirements. No, just no. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman has donated $200,000 to President Biden's re-election campaign in mid-June. 2 transfers of $100,000 each to the Biden Victory Fund according to FEC documents. Is $200K all it takes to buy Biden? In a few years, even I can come up with that kind of money. Maybe even I can propose some AI legislation to him. I mean, I understand that the US political system is corrupt and that politicians need to beg for money, but $200K? It really sounds low. Let's see what Altman gets for that kind of money. Seriously though, the government has been discussing AI regulation for quite some time now, and they are working on a program. It's easy to be very cynical here and just see everything as one big corrupt game of money grab and power chess and all of that. I understand that. It's often my first instinct as well. I want to try and think differently this time. Altman doesn't strike me as a greedy little entrepreneur. I honestly think that the new generation of entrepreneurs are only concerned about money as much as they need to be, and probably not much more than that. Meaning getting funding for their nerdy little projects, and they just enjoy working on cool stuff more than anything. I think Altman is that kind of guy. He might need influence with Biden, but let's hope he uses it for good. I could be wrong, of course, but my opinion is like that for now. Next, the Senate Armed Services Committee is urging the Pentagon to expedite the development of AI-driven wearable neural sensors to provide real-time data on the physical and mental conditions of soldiers on the battlefield. The goal is to quickly deliver this technology to support US soldiers and personnel by utilizing biometric data for military decision-making. Oh boy. This sounds like the first step in creating super soldiers. It's just the neural monitors first, then it's the stimulant shots, then the bionic arms and exoskeletons, and the next thing you know, we're living in Jean-Claude Van Damme's dream world. Next, China is trying the good old begging strategy, it seems, and appeals to Japan to not stop their imports of semiconductors to China. That must hurt. But also they must appreciate the richness of the irony here. You either like free markets or you don't. You can't expect to have a communist economic system internally while trading with other countries by the rules of the free market externally. I think they're gonna have to eat the L here. Japan and the US are good buddies. A Chinese appeal won't have too much of an effect here. Moving on, CS and AI Lab at MIT, that's a lot of acronyms, has developed PhotoGuard, a tool to protect photos from AI manipulation. It introduces perturbations in the pixels of the image, invisible to the human eye, but very effective in confusing the artificial intelligence. This should prevent unauthorized image alteration. The early results seem promising and very effective, but more work is needed to enhance the protection against potential threats posed by AI tools. I think the creators know how the AI image generators work, and they understand in what ways they have to change the picture to make it difficult for an AI to alter it effectively. We'll definitely need tools like this in the times that come. Next, job seekers are learning to apply one ancient, forbidden, now forgotten blogging and SEO technique: keyword stuffing. So most companies today seem to be using AI to filter out all of those CVs and resumes and applications from applicants that honestly don't even read the job requirements most of the time. So most companies today seem to be using AI to filter out all of those CVs. Apparently, it's very difficult to land a good job these days, especially if you're too lazy to spend 10 minutes working on your resume. Now, job seekers are using a hack to bypass the AIs checking their applications. They copy the relevant keywords for the job and paste them in their resume but in the white font color. This makes the text invisible to human recruiters, but the AI looking at the resume takes it into account and gives them bonus points in many cases. This helps the job seekers pass the initial filter. Okay, but how long do you think you have before both AIs and recruiters figure this out? This is exactly what the earliest bloggers and SEO hustlers did. It worked for a while, they fooled Google and other search engines, but after a short period of time it stopped working, and it has never worked ever since. Also, the technique is not as effective as your most trusted TikToker would want you to believe. It only improves your odds by 10 or 15%, which is not nothing, but it's not the silver bullet you're looking for. Whatever, apply this technique if you wish. I'm convinced that most recruiters hate reading CVs, but that's precisely their job. So maybe white fonting will force them to read their CVs more and actually do their job. Okay, possibly the most disturbing news today, OpenAI shuts down its AI detection tool. The tool was definitely not accurate. I tried it quite a few times and it almost always got the results wrong. Human text that a real human wrote was labeled as AI generated, and text that came straight from the ChatGPT oven was labeled as human text. So they just gave up. That's a big problem. If the best AI company can't figure this out, I doubt anyone will be able to. But in some ways, it may be an inherently unsolvable problem. Consider this sentence. Many people find strawberries delicious. I just came up with that sentence, nothing special. But don't you think that ChatGPT could have come up with it too? It's certainly capable of it. Maybe the goal is to identify larger bodies of text, and that's actually more useful in the real world, since probably nobody really cares about single pointless sentences. In any case, this is one more area where AI simply wins, and maybe humans can't do anything to address it. That's the definition of passing the Turing test. You can't really be sure if you're talking to a human or an AI, and I don't think we can actually go back from that. And finally, a few big media companies, including the New York Times, News Corp, Axel Springer, and IAC, are getting the pitchforks and storming the AI castle. They are forming a coalition to address concerns over AI, particularly ChatGPT, and its use of news content for training purposes. The coalition wants to explore compensation for publishers and may consider legal action. They are also concerned about Google's shift towards using chatbots for answering user queries. Yeah, I'm generally pro-AI, but I think the media companies have a case here. You can't just train your AIs on OPD. That's an acronym for other people's data, by the way. I just came up with it. If you use OPD, you gotta compensate those people. And the search generative experience that Google is considering is an even bigger insult. Just steal people's content, generate an answer, and maybe even send the reader straight to a Google shopping product, milking the content creator entirely while giving them nothing. Well, I would love to see AI progress, but not at all costs, and not without giving props where props are due, including content creators. I generally despise litigiousness, but I have to admit, sometimes a lawsuit can be a beautiful thing, and that's the way it is. That was the AI report. I decided to cut the intro, as you may have noticed, and I may even decide to completely switch to guides and tools, so enjoy these little news pieces while you can. Like and subscribe to show your love, and I will see you tomorrow.